Well, welcome back, my friends, to another rousing rendition. There's Megatron. A Rosecraft Blades Tarcanis rendition, if you will. Tarcanis means bulldog. It was designed by Andy Armstrong. It's in RPM 9 steel. And listen, the more that I use that RPM 9 steel, the more that I really like it. This thing is sharp as shit. I wrote some things down that I really like about it, and we'll talk about them in just a second. Let me give you some quick stats. It's an RPM 9 blade steel. It's a drop point PVD coated blade. I love that. It has ambidextrous thumb studs. Love that. It's a front flipper. It's 3.2 millimeters thick, so it's in no way thin at all. Overall length open is 7.2 inches. Closed is 4.2 inches. The weight on this knife is 4.6 ounces. It has a deep carry pocket clip and a hidden lanyard hole. Now, you can see there with the deep carry, and that's also ambidextrous. I love this knife. This is already in my top 2 favorite Rosecraft blades. It just is. It's the sharpest Rosecraft knife I've got. It came in super sharp, and I always love that. I really do. It's well built, it's well made, it's well designed, and that was a dumbass thing to do, but we'll pick it up and cut it in a minute. Andy Armstrong's the designer. And guys, we're going to talk all about this knife, and I'm going to show you more as we go. Before we do that, there was a time in this country where 22 vets a day took their own lives. We bring it up every video. Why? Because we're trying to raise awareness. Every day I encounter someone, or at least once or twice a week, literally, encounter someone who asks about the bracelet, and then they look stunned. We know this, guys. The 22 is not the number. It floats. It can be between 15 and 29. That's why here on this channel, we focus on the number 0. Anything over 0 is simply unacceptable. We're back to Blue over here. We support Leo, all to the chagrin of many. My kid's going to be a cop. I've got a bunch of friends that are cops. Are they all good? No, you know that. Are they all bad? No, you know better. How do you do it, Scab? How do you support them? Well, I don't break the damn law anymore. Used to all the time. Don't anymore. Finally, and this is important, if you are an addict, never quit quitting. Now let's just watch here for a second. The one thing I like showing you guys is the sharpness out of the box. The reason that I do a lot of cutting and cutting materials, and people said all kind of stuff, a lot of people like the testing, some, oh, you just cut soft stuff. Well, I cut realistic stuff. We cut water hose, we cut rope. In a minute, we're going to cut a tire. Is that realistic? Not really, but we go a little harder. We cut steel belted tire. We cut steel belted sandblast hose. We cut a lot of industrial stuff, but we also cut a lot of normal everyday stuff. We do a lot of wood processing. My desire, my goal is not to beat the hell out of the knife. It's just to show you a quick demonstration straight out of the box. Not really a review, right? But it gives you a good look. It lets you know what the capabilities are. This is a knife that I'm going to be carrying a lot. Now, I'm going to try to be quiet for a minute because I want y'all to hear it cut this steel belting. This tire's been abused and cut to death, so it's kind of hard trying to find a place to stab. You kind of get the idea there, guys. This thing, I was very impressed with the sharpness, and I wrote down several things that I was impressed with. Sharpness being first and foremost. If you give me a sharp knife, let's just be honest, I can make it look pretty good. Can I make it look great? No, we're learning. That's the other part of this channel. Part of the channel is showing the knife. Part of the channel is building a skill set. But if you give me a sharp knife, the deck's stacked in my favor, and I am so appreciative. This was sent to me by Rosecraft. I love those folks over there, but I appreciate them too, making their stuff sharp. Now, I've bought several Rosecraft, and whether I buy it or whether they send it to me, the damn things are sharp. That's something that personally I love and I appreciate. But there's a couple other things here that I like. I like the weight, the 4.6 ounces. Yes, it's a little heavy for some. I get it. I'm never one of those guys who criticize what people like. I like a heavier knife. There's reasons for that. Not everybody works in an industrial environment or in a garage or anything like that or outside. Some folks work in an office, and I can understand carrying something a little lighter. Even if you work in those industrial fields, there are guys who just like lighter. For me personally, because I'm so heavy-handed and because I'm kind of klutzy, I like something a little heavier. It just, for me personally, it gives me a little more confidence. Now, the balance on this knife is beautiful. It's perfect. Again, Andy Armstrong's the designer. And Andy did an amazing job. The dude, I don't think, gets the credit he deserves. Andy's a hell of a designer. They did a couple things here that I like. They've got ambidextrous thumb studs. They've got ambidextrous pocket clip. I showed you the hidden lanyard hole. Some guys, I know Carl Ruger is one who loves a lanyard on his knife. Not everybody likes a pocket clip, so I like that addition. I like that they give you a couple different opening options. It's a front flipper and then the traditional, just pinch the blade and pull it, or the thumb studs. I am a horrendous front flipper. I can't do it. It's like Spidey flicking. Just can't do it. Now, this is the steel belted sandblast hose I was telling you about. And what I do with this, guys, is I'll go in, I make sure we penetrate, and then I just kind of twist it. And we try to give it kind of an accordion cut. I know that's probably not a good term, but if anybody knows me, it'll fit me. I like doing that, put a little extra stress on the edge. When you get an edge this sharp, there's this misnomer out there that you have to have a super, super thin blade for it to be sharp, and that's not true. 3.6 or 3.2 millimeters isn't, we're not talking super thick, but we're also not talking a fixed blade. We're talking about a knife that's built for slicing and for work. It's not uber thin, and we're going to stab some. Now, it is a liner lock. And here's the deal, guys. I'm pretty confident with liner locks. I know some folks are not, and I get it. We all have things we like and we dislike. So I did just a couple of quick stabs with the John Peters stab test. What we're doing here is I'm making an incision. I'm going to put the knife in and pull down, and we're just doing some different cuts. My thumb is not that close, so please spare me with that, okay? Believe it or not, I do try to be as cautious as possible. There are times that accidents happen, but every time I watch one of these, I'm like, well, I'm going to hear about that, when I know good and damn well I wasn't close to it. Now, moving on. This thing, I like it. One, it's red and black, and I love those colors. But two, it's got good weight. 3, it's sharp. 4, and this one's very important to me, is the handle. The way the handle contours to my hand. Now, closed length is what, 4.2 inches? Okay, so the inner grip's going to be shorter than that. It's probably going to be like 3 3/4 or something if I actually pulled it. But I'm able to get a decent 4-finger grip on it. You can see the sliciness right there. This is that box store hardwood. I was very impressed with the performance of the knife. I just want to throw that in. The handle contours to my hand. It's very comfortable in hand. Let me say this very quickly. Do you baton with a folder? No, you do not. And if you have to, disengage the lock. But remember, we are a review channel. So we're going to do some things that you don't normally do, so that if you do have to do them, or if you got in a situation, you know the knife would perform. To be straight up honest with you, I've never batoned with a pocket knife other than videos, and don't know that I ever would. But I do like knowing it has the capability, and it actually performed pretty well. Now, I was going to disengage the lock here, and then I always get really, really aggravated right about there. Yep, there we go. That's where old Scabber got aggravated and said to hell with it. And then I thought I'd be clever and say we were checking the lock up or something like that. Again, it's never a good idea to baton with a folder, especially with the lock engaged. That's my little disclaimer. However, it held up very, very well. I'm going to be real honest with you. I absolutely adore this knife. They've got some on their website. I'll put the website, I'll put a direct link in the description. If you use Choir Boys, how I spell it, you'll get a 10% discount. Now, I say this a lot. I'm not the QVC. But if you're going to purchase one, use my discount code. It's more for me to track and see if I'm making an impact. That's important to me, guys. Now, here's the biggest thing about this damn thing. Watch this. After all that cutting, we cut for probably 5-10 minutes on that tire. I know it come out to a few seconds, but we were at that tire a long time. That'll wear an edge in a hurry. And you see right here, it's still razor sharp. Remember this, guys. I love you. God knows I do. God bless you. I hope he does. I'm Scab. You're not. This is a badass knife, son. I'm gone. Andy, home run.